So today we will discuss the last verse of the prayers of Queen Kunti from the first canto, chapter 8. It's not the last verse spoken by Queen Kunti. Next verse, she gives a summary of her prayers. But this is a very important verse for all of us, because in this prayer, Queen Kunti is praying for one-pointed attention, only thinking constantly of Krishna. It is a very beautiful prayer. Many devotees, they memorize this verse because it's important, so important for all of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vaimenanya Visaya Mater Madhupate Sakit Ratim Utvahata Adha Gange Voham Udamvati. Word for word translation. Ye, unto you may my Ananya Visaya, unalloyed, Matihi, attention, Madhupate, a lot of Madhu, Asakrit, continuously, Ratim, attraction, Utvahatat, may overflow, Ada, directly, Ganga, the Ganges, Eva, like, Oham, flows, Udamvati, down to the sea. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. A lot of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrances, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Purport. Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others, because this is a symptom of life. The symptom of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see that it was just to satisfy his own personal desires that Arjuna refused to fight with his brothers and relations. But when he heard the message of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became a famous devotee of the Lord, for it is declared in all scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, the friendship was there, Arjuna was there, and Krishna was there. But Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kunti also indicate the same categorical changes in activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. His unalloyed devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non-godly or not in the program of the Lord. When the program is changed into the service of the Lord, that is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, that is called pure unalloyed devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and the Vaishnavas was not out of the range of devotional service, because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. Sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and the Vaishnavas was due to family relation. This tie of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya, because the relations of the body and the mind are due to the influence of the external energy. Relations of the soul established in relation with the Supreme Soul are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the medium of the relation with the supersoul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. I read the verse once again. Tvaimenanya visaya matir matupate saket Atvim utvata ada gangavara mudamvati. A lot of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Om Maiganatimanlasya Chananjala Shlaka Saksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shikave Nama Shichitayano Vistam Staptam Yena Bhutalesvam Upakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyuda Padakamalam Shigam Vaishnavamsha Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savrutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakanalita Shivashakam Vitamsha. He Krishna Kamuna Sinodina Bandojat Pate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Galanki Radha Prinavaneshvi Vishabhana Sutta Devi Panamama Haripriye Pancha Kalptrubhisha Kripasan Vevasha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namanam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirvashesha Sinyavadi Paskachai Dasatani. So Queen Kunti wants our mind always be fixed on Krishna, Manmana, and she wants to avoid everything else that is diverting her attention to anything else. So she says, cut my ties of affection for my sons. Her sons are the roots of Krishna. And the Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada writes, service to the devotees or to Krishna is the same quality. Not But she's not only thinking about her sons, also the Vrishnis. That means her family side. Because she's a sister of Vasudev. And yes, these are the Vrishnis, their family. And a lot of politics are going on, like everywhere in the material world. And she doesn't want to go to invest her consciousness in this anymore. She wants just to become attracted to Krishna. We see also in our daily life so many worries and things coming. And we have to deal with it. And many times we forget Krishna. But we don't want to forget Krishna. So we can pray to Krishna, please help us to remember him, as Queen Kunti is doing. Not now. So she wants that all her attention becomes focused on Krishna. As the Ganges with great force goes to the sea, cannot be stopped. So our attention should always flow to Krishna. It should not be deviated from Krishna. This attention to Krishna is completely different than any attraction for anything else. She does not want to become disconnected with her family, but she does not want to be attached either. So both parts are there. Because we had all family members in our previous lifetime. And in our previous lifetime, we were very much attached to these family members. But in our present life, this previous life has become completely meaningless. Right? So we can understand the very temporary situation of these relationships. And therefore, practically, in the light of eternity, they are meaningless. People become completely consumed in their family relationship. And Arjuna played also this role. He did not want to follow Krishna's order to fight because of attachment to his family members. That family members who tried to kill him in so many ways, many of them. All these, Duryodhana and all these sons. But yes, but we see that Krishna, he even killed Narakasur. Narakasur was the son of Bhumi Devi and Varahadev. So Varahadev is Krishna, is incarnation of Krishna. So Narakasur or Brahmasur was his son. Because Bhumi is a form of Lakshmi, the eternal consort of Varaha, who is Krishna. So when Krishna killed Narakasur, he asked permission from Satyabham. Bhumi is coming from Satyabham. Satyabham is a form of Ma Lakshmi. And of course, Satyabham, she was a Kshatriya woman. And Krishna took her with him to the battlefield with Narakasur. And Narakasur suddenly attacked Krishna. And Satyabham said to Krishna, kill him. So she gave permission to kill her own son. In that sense, she gave permission to kill Narakasura. So Krishna is not, his decisions are not influenced by family attachment. And that, of course, that we can say a parent killing their own son. But anyway, that's a daily practice. Abortion. Mothers kill their offspring in the womb. But back to this attachment to these family members. So, if someone is a devotee but not his relative, then a devotee will be more inclined to this devotee than to a relative who is not a devotee. Because devotees are connected with each other as family members from Krishna. So what's the message here? We should not too deep become implicated in family affairs. We do our best to keep the family nice, but that's not the purpose of our life. To serve the devotee is a more effective way of developing love for Krishna. Sometimes we have family members, they are non-devotees, and they become antagonistic against Krishna consciousness. Then it's better to leave them aside. And we go our own way. And we offer respect from a distance. When we meet, we say, "Oh, how are you? Good? Yeah, nice. See you next time." But you leave them aside. And that's a message here. That become attached to that what connects us to Krishna. Therefore, we follow every week the nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction discussions. What's favorable, what's unfavorable. We should be attached to these instructions, because that brings us closer to Krishna. It is mentioned, Jnana Sangha Salyalyamsa, don't associate with those who are greedy, who are non-devotees. Sanghatyaga in verse 2. Give up association of non-devotees. So, because our concern is we want to come to Vyasatmika Buddhi Ekanako Nandana, one-pointed attention. Because the attention of materialists is Bahusaka Ayanantasha. There's many branched, so many desires to fulfill. A devotee has only one desire, to please Krishna. And she wants only that one desire to be prominent in our lives. Of course, we can try to make family members devotees. Then the problem is solved. But that's mostly not in our hands. Not all the children of Nityananda became devotees. Also, Advaita Acharya had children who were not devotees. Also, Srila Prabhupada, they didn't become all practicing devotees, all his children. No. We don't, because every living entity has his free will. We cannot force these things. Devotional service is voluntary. So this expectation of children, we're attached to children, but then we have our expectations, and then they are not coming through, and we are suffering from it. That because we invest in these relationships that with material motives. That so there's something to be careful in. And where do we invest our consciousness in? That so these are very important lessons to be learned, and the Bhagavatam repeats that again and again. That in the fifth canto we have the teachings of King Rishabhadev, this which is an incarnation of Krishna. He was liberated. That and his teaching is 100 sons. Of course, 9 of his sons became pure devotees, the Nava Yogendras. About 18, I think, became Kshatriyas, the other became Brahmins. That, but he was teaching to his sons, yes. Mahat sevant varam aur vimuktes. Tamod from Yostam Sangha Sangam. If you associate with the Mahatmas, with the great souls, that is the powerful liberation. But Tamod Varam means the door. Tamo means hell, the door to hell. Tamod Varam Yosta Sangha Sangam. If you take Sangha, association with those who are attached to sex life, that's the path to hell. Srila Prabhupada was in somewhere in Mumbai, and he was invited, I think, by a life member, and he was there with some of his disciples, and the man presented his wife, his children, and all his family members, uncles, everyone. That and when the man was away for a little while, and Prabhupada was alone with his disciples, he said to his disciples, he's presenting me his entire sex life. So yes, it is what people are attached to, and but devotees should learn this lesson from early age. Don't be over-attached to family members. Attachment is there, but over-attachment is very dangerous. In the 11th canto, there you have the 24 spiritual masters, the beginning of the Uddhav Gita. And one of the last is these birds, these 2 birds. I don't remember what kind of birds, but they were always together. And the male bird could not control his senses, and soon there were eggs to take care of, and little birds, baby birds, and they have to get worms and to feed them. That and one day he saw his wife was killed by a hunter, taken into a net, and then his mind went completely blank. He was thinking, what's the use of my life now? That my wife and children were everything. And he became morose, and his moroseness, he was also captured, and the children also. So we should be cool-headed and not to be over-attached. At the same time, we have to do our duty as householders. And that's a challenge in Krishna consciousness. No attachment, but still doing your duty. That's a lesson to be learned. Prabhupada said that That's also in the West. If you go for a solicitation interview to get a job, and when you are married, you are a better candidate because you have to be responsible for the family. That and they know that he has to get money for the family, so he will be steady. That when he's not married, he can every moment say, "Oh, okay, I'm going." That so that family attachment is exploited also in the material world like that. They know that attachment. That yes, these are the teachings of King Shabbadev, but also the teachings of Lord Kapiladev at the end of the third chapter. There is that verse also, which was as many times quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Pashangamajampa samatmana kavayo vidu saiva sadhusuketo moksatvaram apavitam. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to self-realized devotees, opens the door for liberation. There is it, we should become attached to devotees, but we have to be careful. Why are we attached to devotees? Because devotees facilitate our progress in devotional service. We can also become attached to each other for material reasons. And that's not required. So we are attached to each other because Krishna is in the center. We serve together. And these relationships between devotees they become very sweet. But to make them sweet, you first must accept what's favorable for devotional service and accept and reject what's unfavorable. Because if you don't do that, you cannot become unattached materially. And that's a condition to make it sweet. There's the devotees in each other relationship have no motive to exploit each other. It's not there. In the material world, in a man-woman relationship, there's an aspect of exploitation. Sexual attraction is the greatest exploitation. It's not love. It's taken as love in this world, but it's not. It's lust. And these are lessons we learn from Queen Kunti. That in that way, because if we associate with devotees, what does it mean? What's the best association of devotees? Best association of devotees is when we discuss together the very powerful and wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we discuss that with each other, then yes, then that will shine in our heart and we will relish it. And that will bring us factually on the path of liberation. That Shraddha Rati Bhakti Anukramishati. Then you go to the process, devotion service, you become attracted to Krishna. And that attraction, if it becomes intense, then you cannot be deviated from Krishna from a moment. The gopis in Vrindavan, their minds could not be deviated for a moment from Krishna. During the day, they were always thinking of Krishna. And somehow or other, they did their household chores. but without deep attention. There's more a standard way that therefore it's good to read Krishna book and see how all the resonance of Vrindavan are so fixed, their mind is so fixed on Krishna. And that is what we need to attain. Then yam yam vapis bram bram tayam tam te kalevram tam tam aveta kantya sutatat bhavabat bhavita. The the mood you have or the thoughts you have at time of death, that will mean that will determine your next body. You think of Krishna, you become totally aware of your spiritual body, your Siddha Rupa. Then you don't take birth again. So that's the desire of Queen Kunti. Any questions or comments, please?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for nicely explaining about focusing, one-pointed focus. Also leave things which are hindrance and, attract to things which will take us closer to Krishna.
Mhm.
So Maharaj, my question is more related to many times there are individuals who are very much attracted to, a lot of reading or understanding a lot of things. Um, and they may not have still, meaning they are in the path of devotion, but they are not still um, that much purified that they can just read devotional books or Srila Prabhupada's books. So in that case, would that be okay if they do study of other Vedic scripture, Vedic branches like Vastu or Jyotish, and at least that will help in their appetite of reading and learning new things?
Well, if it's secondary, it's okay if it can be used in devotional service. So studying Vastu can be used in devotional service in various ways, or studying astrology can also be used. These are the angas of the Vedas. But that is good. That also, we may be attracted also to certain scriptures, and like that it can be attracted to Chaitanya Bhagavat or to the Pirat Bhagavatamrita from Sanatana Goswami. We can also read Mahabharat again and again, and Ramayana. That's okay. That we cannot focus the whole day on philosophy. Some have philosophical minds; they don't mind that, but we can be practical. Also, you can study the cookbook of Yamuna and learn to cook for Krishna. That's also nice. But it should remain secondary. That should not replace our daily reading 2 hours. But Srila Prabhupada gave us the morning and evening program. If you have the morning and the evening program, you have already 2 hours. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita class. But mostly we don't have these classes anymore, so we must read therefore and associate with each other and discuss, because that makes it powerful. Therefore, we try to form these smaller groups and discuss at least once a week or twice a week. Stay in contact. It's important that to cultivate that friendship. Yes, but yes, that certainly we can do. No problem. Anything else?
Thank you, Guruji.
Good. Thank you very much. I hope to see you next week online. That probably the same time that for the nectar instruction class we have to see. But I think we will go back to our normal schedule. Wednesday morning the class, and then Wednesday evening the nectar of instruction for next week. Good. Thank you very much.
Good.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada. Have a nice Krishna conscious day. Yeah.
His name is Bhakti Prabha Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.